What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. We are in the new shop. We're finally getting settled in and enough to kind of get working on a car. We did just finish up the IS300 giveaway that ended on March 31st. It's the 14th right now, about 2 weeks later, and we have our official winner, which is Brian from Sarasota, Florida. So congrats to Brian.
Congrats,
now that this build is basically done, Sean, are you glad that it's done?
Yeah, it's been done.
But now, well, we've been working in the shop and doing some other stuff. Yeah. Now we have a brand new build, and I think it's like the perfect one to start off this new shop. I'd like to introduce you guys to this R32 Nissan Gtr.
We make the streams.
Oh! This is not like the perfect GTR, which I don't think I could ever go and just buy something that's like brand new and perfect. But it needs a little bit of work. It does not run, but pop the hood. Let's check this thing out. So that, my friends, is a Nissan RB26.
So basically, neither one of us know pretty much anything about this car.
We've never really like
either one of us have never worked on one.
Never really messed with the GTR. Never really had any interest in it because I was kind of into. I was like, you know, the Supra versus the GTR. So I was just like, oh, I got a Supra. At the end of the day,
it's a car.
But now, like thinking about this thing, it's like an all-wheel drive Supra. Maybe we should make it run. That's probably what we need to do. The fact that it's like turbo inline 6. Has individual throttle bodies, factory twin turbo, factory like front mount intercooler thing, manual with all-wheel drive. It's a really rad car. Kid who I got it from, basically, I think he's had it for a couple years. You can tell there's some weird mods done to it. So as you can see, we got the corner lights all smoked out. Probably the craziest thing, which is this is one of those eBay GT45 turbos that are like 150 bucks shipped. It has a tubular manifold. Obviously, that's like a cheaper one. But it has a hood exit exhaust. If this was on a Honda, I'd be like, oh, that's really cool, but like it's on a freaking GTR. And I just feel like you don't do that to a GTR. The fab work was done really good. I asked him who did it. He said it was just some guy off Craigslist. He said he hit him up and he had like fabrication and he took it to his house and he did this. They did hammer the strut tower a little bit. I'm not super stoked about that. Maybe we'll tap that back out. But I think overall the goals for this thing, I'd like to get it running and driving how it is and then basically pull it apart and do like a little restoration on it. So we'll pull it out, we'll paint the bay, we'll fix some of the bodywork issues and some of the other stuff. There's a few little hell dents on the roof, but the interior of this thing is so clean. It kind of sucks that it has these seats in it. I wish it had the original 32 GTR seats. Maybe we'll see if we could get a set of like 32 GTR seats or 33s. But overall, I mean, the dash is in great shape. I mean, he definitely was trying to do something in here with the red theme. It has red door cards, or no, it has red right here.
It has red on like...
Red right there, but it's not red over there.
Interesting.
So I don't know. But it's got the red shift boot. I don't know. It kind of works. I want to change out these seats. But overall, mostly I want to get it running. But probably the worst part about this whole entire car, which I was super bummed when I got up there to look at it, because I knew it had a little bit of rust above these rear quarters. When in the pictures, you could see a little bit of an issue right there. But as soon as I got up there, it had these flares on it. So like the pictures were like old pictures. They cut the quarter panel and they put these flares on it. Should we pull these off?
Right now or?
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of scared to look at it.
I guess we could always put them back, but I'd like to, depending on what we do with this car, I'd like to fix it right.
Well, no, I definitely don't want to leave these on here because these suck and they're terrible. I wish he would have just left it because even like rusty metal, we could have figured it out, made a patch panel, went in there and replaced it, whereas they cut out the metal. I stuck my flashlight, it doesn't look good. And you can see there's a little bit of body filler right here and there's a little bit of rust kind of down here on the bottom and a little bit in the back. Everything underneath the car looks immaculate. It's just right here in the quarter panels. So I don't know if we're gonna try to find a set of OEM quarter panels, if we're gonna fix it, but let's go get a screwdriver and let's take that off. So obviously I got a deal. I feel like I got a deal on this. So a restored R32 GTR, if you went and like bought a car that was like, went through like Tommy's shop, you know, it was like nice paint, engine bay painted, everything done. It'd probably be like $60,000+. This one I got for $22,000. You used to be able to get these things, like I remember when they first started coming in, like this car was probably like 14, 15 grand when it first came over here. But now, you know, this same car, probably in the similar condition, would probably be like 30 something. I was talking to Tom, oh
My God.
Buddy, I wasn't ready for that. Look at that. Damn it, that sucks.
Yeah, that's not good, buddy.
Come look at it. Come
I see it from here.
Come stick your finger in it.
No, go ahead, do it for me. I'm fixing.
I kind of like. I don't want to put the flare back on it, but I kind of want to put the flare back on it. And then look back here. So the back has been like plasti dipped and done some other stuff. The thing about me, I don't go out and I just buy like perfect running and driving cars. or immaculate paint and body cars. We know how to build cars here, and we know how to fix them, and that's the plan. Is we're gonna make it pretty, we're gonna make it run good. We're gonna fix this. And they use wood screws too. Like, look at that. That's ridiculous.
Jesus.
But they didn't even like cut it enough, really, and they didn't seal it up. I mean, I don't think it drove since he did this. There's another like 2-inch wheel. Look at that wheel spacer. That's like 2 inches. Maybe we need to find some or we could do a wide body.
I think a wide body would be
do like
cool.
a Pandem wide body kit on this thing.
Put in the comments
I mean,
below.
that like this is the type of car to do that type of build to, because it does have the rest of the quarters. And what do you do with the Pandem wide body? You just cut it all out and you do this. So if you guys know of any wide body kits that you think would look sick on the 32 GTR, when we first went to look at this thing, we cranked it over in the guy's garage. There's no mass airflow sensors on it. He had 2 of them like sandwiched together. There's a map sensor.
Yeah, look at the firewall.
So then this thing was unplugged, which I think this is supposed to either be like a resistor box or something for the injectors.
I plugged that in, but here's a map sensor.
But crank it over real quick. Let's just hear it.
It's not getting ignition. There's no ignition. The oil smells like fuel. Maybe it is getting ignition.
Oh my goodness. Buddy. Is it?
Oh my God, look at the exhaust.
Turn it off. It runs.
What is coming out of the exhaust?
Dude, it's like oil.
Come here. Come look at this.
Jesus.
So this turbo.
Look at the oil everywhere.
No, okay, so the oil feed is going 90 degrees and the oil drain is pointed straight to the side. So the turbo is clocked completely wrong.
Just spitting oil out of the exhaust.
Right, look
I'm
at our-
hoping that comes from the
Oh
turbo.
my
Look at our
God.
floor. Holy crap.
I'm hoping that's from the turbo feed.
No, that guaranteed that's what it is. This turbo, and it's probably been sitting like this forever too. I need to open the doors.
Yeah.
The nice thing is we got the freaking cross breeze through here, so it'll clear out right away.
If that turbo is doing that now, regardless of how it's clocked, it's already gonna. It's still gonna
I
do it.
have another one.
What do we pull it off and block it just to see if that goes away? Out of
I
curiosity.
mean, it will.
Let's pull that feed line and put a cork in it.
A cork in it. A cork in the feed line. This ain't a freaking wine bottle, buddy.
Obviously, clocking like this blew the seals in the turbo. So whether we clock it right or not, it's not going to take away that oil problem at this point. The seals are obviously shot.
Yeah.
It's a $100 turbo. Like, thing's junk.
Oh my goodness! Look at this. The boost controller is going to the blow-off valve.
Yeah.
That's not how you do
sick.
it. I don't even know if where's the wastegate at? There's some sort of a wastegate down there, and there's probably not even a boost thing. I'm glad that this thing like didn't run and drive. So he took it to a shop, and like the reason for, he was like mad. He took it to the shop and he was like, they wanted to charge me a bunch of money. They wanted to put a standalone ECU in it and injectors and all this other stuff.
You mean all the things they should do?
And I was like, that's exactly what
needs.
this thing needs.
Yeah.
If you have a giant turbo, but it runs.
Well, I'd like to pull that feed line off. We can back it outside, put it in the valve cover, and let it run and just see if it clears up. Took the feed line off the turbo. We're gonna let it just pour right back into the crankcase. Basically, let it run for a minute, let it idle, and see if that oil, it might take a little bit, but see if it clears up and stops spitting out of there. That way we basically eliminate the turbo as the problem for all the oil in the exhaust and not an issue with the motor.
It's a sick key, buddy.
Not bad, right?
Oh, buddy.
What fuel is it on? It smells like coming out of the turbo. So yeah, it could be going
kind of through there because the turbo.
But there's no more oil being fed there unless it's pulling that.
Yeah, but like there was so much oil everywhere because of everything, and also there's no mass airflow sensor, so it doesn't know how much air. So it's probably running not great because of that.
So what is the map for then?
That over there is for something else.
What do you mean?
That's either for, that's probably like the boost gauge inside or.
And it's on a stock ECU?
Yeah, it's on completely stock ECU.
Yeah, so where do we.
I have two.
Is there a map?
I have both maps over there. They're like bolted together.
Let's plow a map on it and see if it runs any better. But I
go
still
grab it.
think the motor, I don't know. If it doesn't, we need to do a compression test because the motor kind of doesn't sound healthy.
Well, I want to do a compression test no matter what.
This is a quality JDM spec.
Clocking the turbo because obviously when we compression test it, we're gonna hook up the oil feed so it's not squirting everywhere. I guess we could put it back in there, but overall, if we get it started again, I want it to have oil going to the turbo for now. The turbo is pretty much loose though. Like, look at this.
And you did nothing.
I did nothing and it's already like that, so I don't know, silly.
Just rich as all can be. Well, they're just really rich. This one looks kind of like, I wouldn't say washed really, but it's a lot cleaner than the rest.
None of them are, like none of the pistons are wet.
They're not wet or like washed.
Yeah.
This plug in the third cylinder looks like there's a lot of carbon that's like washed.
Yeah, they look all dry in there.
Yeah, see, but cylinder 3, it's almost like washed. Like you can see the piston, like you can see the aluminum of the piston. The rest are, look at the and that's how the plug is the same.
Oh yeah.
So the rest of them are pretty built up with some.
Well,
poop.
I mean, I don't know.
Well, look at the plugs though.
Yeah.
These plugs are all super rich. That third plug back is more so washed, more or less cleaner, like low compression. And if it has low compression, it's in that cylinder for sure. Because the fuel is basically just cleaning the cylinder, not being burnt to create carbon or whatever the hell it is, something like that. But
Create the boom booms.
yeah, it's almost like it's.
So cylinder number 3.
If it has low compression, it's gonna go in that cylinder, absolutely.
Look at this. So this thing, they had the AN end going into the quarter or the half-inch NTP, and it was just like jammed in there for the oil drain.
It's not the right thread pitch. It's
No, it's not the right thread. And then this was the end this was just stuffed in here. I don't even know how they got it in there, but it was stuffed in there. And that was the drain, but it was like 90 degrees sideways.
How much?
120. Yep.
Now watch this.
Why are you saying you like want it to be bad? I don't want it to be bad.
What do you mean? Well, neither do I, because then I gotta fix it. I'm just telling you based off of the way, and hopefully it's not the way the piston looks washed. What does that mean, Trevor?
It means it's doing great.
Yeah, doing great. Yeah, when your piston it's just all aluminum after 400 million kilometers on it.
Well, I tell you what, if the piston is like that, I'm gonna be pissed.
Sounds good.
Alrighty. How much?
120.
120.
Why? Oh, well, that's
You
good.
got it.
That's good. I just don't understand
You
why.
said the third one in the back. I bet you it's one back.
No, it's
Thanks
the
for
third
being
one.
wrong, buddy. Thanks for
that's
being
good.
wrong.
I'm glad that it's good, but if you look at you even saw it too, and you said, "Oh, yeah."
The way you were talking, you wanted it to be bad.
Oh yeah, I want to, so I get to fix it. Maybe it has too much fuel. Maybe the injector is just frigged wide open onto it. Because the rest of the cylinders have tons of carbon buildup in there, and that one is clean. The spark plug and the top of the piston are both clean.
Yeah.
So that,
You'll get that.
you will get that, I guess.
The very first comment on this video, before they even watch the video, they're gonna see that it's R32 GTR and they're gonna say, take it to Tommy F.'s shop.
Yeah.
And that's the very first thing. Just like when we were building a Honda, everybody told us to take it to the Boosted Boys. Mm-hmm. One person on the internet, they get a category. Tommy has GTRs, Boosted Boys have Hondas.
We just do it all.
We just do it all.
Just do it all.
Big or small, we do it all.
Yeah, there you go.
Do we need Tommy F? Yeah. Obviously, I talk to Tommy every now and then. I think we're gonna talk to Tommy and say, hey, what's the best way to go about this? Where do I buy this wiring harness? What should I do about this? And he'll say, do this, 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 and this. And then we'll say, okay, cool. And then we'll do it. What we did talk about, though, was he has a paint booth. up there. And we don't have a paint booth here yet. So maybe once we get this thing all like bodywork and stuff, maybe we could take it up there and paint it and then like assemble it up there, like with him and like, or maybe we could just do it all our dang self because we do know how to build cars. At least I think we do.
Do we need
Sean,
Tommy?
What?
do we need him? I don't think we need him, but I think that we'd be.
Nothing. I don't think we need anybody.
Hey, do you need me?
Don't let me answer that, buddy.
Well, yeah.
125.
125, right across.
Buddy, so we got good compression.
That's good.
All the way across.
Cylinder wash?
That means we don't need to pull this thing out. It's probably an injector or a coil pack
That's
or
good though. I'd rather it be
it's-
that than.
an engine. Yeah,
Exactly.
these things are expensive and they're stupid and
Now
like.
we need to see if the coil packs are good.
That, number 3 is not sparking at all.
Exactly. That's the problem. All right, guys. So we had just changed the spark plugs. There's the old ones on the ground right there. We have the coil packs back in. We're gonna fire it up and see what it does. Ooh! It's brand new, buddy.
Oh!
Need the math now, but that it runs now. There's no math. Oh, plug the math into that.
Yeah, we can. We can.
Plug the math into that. Where's the math?
That's over there on the ground.
Right there.
This is what gets me about Japanese cars, though. You can walk right up to it when somebody's driving and yank the key out and walk off with it.
Yeah. Well, on a Porsche, it's the same way, right?
Yeah, it actually is.
It is.
If you guys don't know, this is Mick. Mick's a Porsche guy.
Hey, how you doing?
You have a, what Porsche do you have?
I have a 73 911 and a 53 356.
Dude, that's a tasteful collection right there. So what do you like about Porsche that other than like JDM? Because I know you said this wasn't your like cup of tea.
Well, I used to have JDM cars. I had a MR2 Turbo, a Civic.
He's also a
had-
Landmark too.
I've had quite a few JDM cars actually. Kind of focused on air-cooled Porsches, so that's why.
That's the way to go.
That's why when I was 14, I saw a 930 and I was like, dude, that's it. That's what I want.
You guys on an episode of Trailer Park Boys too.
Permanent up there.
Hey, where's the covers at?
Maps are plugged in.
It's just super rich.
You know what'd be
there's
cool?
There's no O2 either.
We need changing oil.
And there's no O2. Look how rich it is.
We need an oil change.
We need an oil change. So he actually included this other turbo with it, which is this. So it's red, it matches. These are like $140 or whatever. So I'm gonna go ahead and use that one because these seals might be blown on there. It might be okay, but it might not. But the other thing that Sean noticed was right here in the intercooler pipe that goes through. This is like the main intercooler pipe, but I think this is for the blow-off valve. So that goes right there, and that is just
Wide open.
That connects to the bottom of the intercooler, like wise into the intercooler, and it's wide open. So like this thing never ever made boost with this turbo at all. And it probably ran
Sucked up a bunch of poo out of the engine.
ran like complete garbage the whole time. And then he took it to the shop, and then they probably looked at him, told him it was gonna cost 10 grand to do anything with it. And he said, okay, I'm gonna sell it. And that's exactly what happened. And then I bought it, and then how we're here, and then how are we doing? We're getting it done. So the other crazy thing is so the blow-off valve, you can see there is a nipple that comes off of here to a boost controller. And then that goes to the wastegate, which is completely wrong. You need a vacuum boost source from the intake manifold for the wastegate, and a vacuum boost source from the intake manifold to the blow-off valve. So just like little things like that, which I'm glad that this thing was wide open, because if he drove this thing like down the street, which I think it probably idled and it never made it past that. I mean, literally the inside of the exhaust looks like there's no soot or anything on it. So it was like he probably started it once,
He didn't install anything, correct?
ran like garbage, and then it sat in his garage like trying to figure it out. So I think that's a really good thing, because that essentially saved this engine. Because if he would have went out and hit boost, wastegate wouldn't have opened. So it would have hit.
built.
either 20 pounds of boost or 40 pounds, or it maybe
lean. When it went lean, because there's no, it's stock ECU, stock injectors. I think there's a fuel pump in it, right? It has an aftermarket fuel pump. Yeah.
It sounds pretty rowdy. So it needs a lot of stuff. So I got the turbo. Well, I need to throw another bolt in the turbo. We got the turbo drain clocked correctly. We're gonna plug everything back in, but now we need to figure out this intercooler piping thing too, because that just isn't gonna work. So my ultimate goal would be to drive this thing. I would like to drive it with that turbo. I know that, I guess we could run an NA. We could build a plate, put on the front of that, and just run the mass airflow sensor and just have an NA, an RB26 NA GTR. Yeah, I guess we're gonna keep working on a couple of things. I would like to get a real turbo on this thing. I think like a 3076 would be really rad, or like a G30 770. I think would be like a really cool turbo for this car. Maybe even the G20. Oh, what? Oh, jeez.
Oh my God.
More rust. Rust and body filler. And it probably peeled up, and that's why I put the sticker on it.
There's probably no structure.
That's not cool. We need to figure, we either need OEM quarter panels or a wide body.
Wide body.
Which, I don't know, I would rather kind of have like an OEM clean car, but at the same time,
Wide body's sick.
maybe a wide body car would be kind of sick. We need TJ Hunt to make an R32 GTR wide body kit. We got the turbo kind of halfway on there. We decided we're just gonna drive it without anything hooked up. So no intercooler, no mass airflow sensor. It'll probably run better that way.
Just to see how everything, how the transmission.
Yeah, I just want to see. Yeah.
We're gonna go rip it.
Do the brakes work? Does the clutch work? I think the
Exactly.
clutch actually kind of feels like poo.
It does feel like poo, yeah.
Look who we got back. Working on cars.
Starting to feel better than it did.
Yeah. It's bubbling a little bit, not a
Oh,
lot,
yeah.
but it's
It's coming back. Alright guys, so first drive. I didn't even think this thing was gonna run today.
We got it ripping. It's not pretty, and it's not done. It's not right, but it's running. How do the brakes feel? Oh, yep.
Runs and like everything fine. If it just had the mass airflow sensors and the stuff like plumbed fine, it would run and drive just perfect.
shifts good and everything. Like,
Yeah, it shifts good. It hit, like the brakes work good. The tranny feels good. I think we got into like 4th gear. But I mean, the steering feels okay. The brakes feels okay. The quarter panel is just like rubbing. Like as soon as you go at any sort of an incline, it's just like driving it. But I mean, that's way further than I thought that this car was gonna be. Cause
We
like
didn't know what the problem was, but as soon as we cranked it over, it sounded good.
when I initially bought it, like my worst case scenario, I was like, we need to pull out the engine and like rebuild it. Like worst case scenario, it needs something with the engine. So I didn't really expect it to run. But this is like best case scenario that like we plugged some stuff in, gave it actual battery, like a good battery.
Yeah,
Because
replaced
even
the
when I
spark
went up
plugs.
there and it was cranking it was just really slow.
One of the plugs was bad, and that's why that cylinder was washed. So
Yeah.
that was good. It was the
Well,
plug and not
when it
compression.
did first get started, it was just kind of running a little bit
Rough.
kind of thumpy. But now it has fresh plugs in it, and now the turbo doesn't smoke. It's running super rich just because there's no mass airflow sensors. Honestly, if we could get some like little extenders to like run those two mass airflow sensors together,
Yeah, without jacking the harness up.
without jacking it up, or order like an ECU master, like the plug and play.
Yeah.
Because they have a plug and play harness for this, and then just run it map, and then figure out a different turbo manifold and a different turbo, obviously. It'd be cool to just kind of drive it around
Before we like.
how it is. I don't know, but
Until
like
we decide
that's
what we
kind of
do.
a slippery slope, because then if we start driving it, then I'm
You're
gonna
not
be
gonna
like,
wanna tear it apart,
I'm not
right?
gonna want to tear it apart. But I don't know. It would be cool to like drive it.
if you get a rocket bunny kit, it's got, what's that gonna take? 4 or 6 weeks probably?
months,
Yeah,
like
months
1 or
by
2
now,
months.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like, who knows if you could even get them right now, depending on the kit or whatever. We got a lot of stuff to kind of figure out on it, but I'm pretty stoked
Yeah, this is
that it's kind of where it is. I mean, even if we spent a week though, and we just, you know, drop the subframe, pull the engine out, clean it up, put a new engine harness and stuff on it, get an ECU master for it, do turbo manifold, head gasket, head studs and stuff.
I'm sure they make aftermarket.
Do a
harnesses
coil
for these.
radiator in it, and then an intercooler kit, clean up the intake manifold. But that's pretty much, that's almost the build then.
Yeah.
I'm pretty stoked to actually have basically my first GTR. I don't know. I'm just stoked that I'm glad that I got it at the price that I did. Getting it at the price that I did, it comes obviously with another cost, which is dealing with this. But the fact that it runs and drives is crazy.
Yeah, it is cool.
It seems
It's very-
really
well, there's-
clean.
there's, like, some-
like
there's hail
in
on
the
the
so the hood, it has the hood exit. They cut a hole for it. First thing I'd like to do is like clean up the valve cover. I'd like this thing to like look like the iconic RB that it actually is. So, and if it doesn't work, we're just gonna put a 2J in it. But I appreciate you guys watching. See you later.